going live. We are going live. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? We are live. This is a special edition. This is our weekend roundup. See? Shut up. This is our weekend roundup, and we are here to just talk about some things that were in the hot topics this week. You guys will remember, y'all know Face. He is here with us. I, got him to come through on a Friday night. And this is my friend. What we calling you? We calling you Kiss again? Kissable Kiss? Pat. Pat. Okay, she said like that. We're gonna be Pat. Now, if you remember, if you go back, She did a review of Basketball Wives when we did the season finale of Basketball Wives. And people,
the reunion.
Yes, we did. The reunion. Was it the reunion?
I think it was the reunion.
Okay, and people loved her. People were like, oh, she's so funny. So I got her back. We are here. Now, first of all, I got her back. We are here. Really?
Yep.
Really?
I love it.
Nope. Can you do that? Can you stop? Thank you.
I stopped. I didn't expect that to happen.
I see. So first of all, it is the new year. So happy new year to everyone. May your 2019 be bigger and better than your 2018. And sky's the limit. So first of all, everybody got a drink. Let's toast to the new year. Let's toast.
Hey,
20 years. Toast to the new year. Oh, we got people, come on in the room. We got people coming through already. What they saying, Faith?
Happy New Year. How is everyone? Y'all good?
We are here.
Hey.
Thank y'all for coming in and joining us. Feel free to jump in wherever you fit in. But that's a toast to the new year. Like I said, may everybody's 2019 be bigger and better. Now, does anybody here do resolutions? New Year's resolution? Do you do resolutions?
I do not.
No. As a rule, you used to.
I used to too.
I think at some point we all bought into that whole resolution, new year, new me thing.
I never even made it through January 1st.
Damn, not January 1st.
Not January 1st.
How you didn't make it through January 1st?
Because
I was usually still hung over on January 1st. I couldn't fuck up January 1st.
Oh, I could.
All right. Apparently she's a pro and professional.
It would always start with something I said I was not going to eat. On January 1st,
got it.
How you was not going to eat? That's not a
resolution. Because it was something
that's
I was trying to
certain things
for the new year. So
like I'm not going to eat potato chips.
Year, I'm like, next year,
but then she left potato chips in the house.
But it's in your refrigerator.
Right. The key was you had to get rid of that. So at least you started there.
Nobody ever told me to get rid of the stuff.
Somebody tell you?
Somebody to tell you to get rid of the shit you didn't want to eat no more?
Yeah.
I mean, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Well,
I
don't make resolutions, but I do try to set goals for myself of things that I want to accomplish. Like I want to do this in 2018. I want to do 2018. Right. I said I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I did. You know what I mean? I didn't say I wanted to have 50,000 subscribers because that's something I can't necessarily control. But I wanted to start that process.
I'll hold you to that. Be right back.
We getting there.
You better be right
there.
Y'all waiting on R. Kelly.
We getting R. Kelly. We gonna get. We getting to Rob. So we gonna get to Rob's ass now. You know we gonna get there. Well, shit. Then maybe we had some up stuff. All right, I'll skip the up stuff. All right, let's go. The next thing we were going to talk about Tony and Birdman breakup. So now you were saying offline that it's not a big scandal because why?
Did we care?
Well, it wasn't. No, what did you say? You didn't say we didn't care. You said we didn't what? We never believed it to begin with.
What's that?
I'm gonna be honest. I never bought the whole Tony Braxton Birdman thing. I never bought it either.
I can't.
I never.
Well, I thought maybe she looked at this as a money investment thing. Like Birdman got money, and she obviously doesn't have a lot because she was going through a bankruptcy, right?
Yeah, but now his ass ain't got no money.
Well, yeah, that's right because now he's going through bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why she bailed.
And she conveniently lost the ring.
I don't believe that. I believe that ring is somewhere.
If the ring was real, she didn't pawn that bitch.
I believe the ring was real. And I think that the ring is sitting pretty somewhere. Tamar probably holding it for her.
I could see that.
I didn't. It was the whole video. It was just like really.
I mean, watching the TV, watching them on the show, they just never seen
like
any chemistry. And then, like a couple of times, they went on a date, and it seemed like it was the first time they'd been around each other.
Right.
And I'm just like,
because it was the first time they'd been around each other.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they kept talking about their schedules too, and she was like,
right. She wouldn't set a date. She wouldn't set a date. Yeah.
But she was saying how he would fly out to be with her. So.
I don't know.
I never felt like that was a real relationship.
It didn't. I was surprised that they kept up the charade as long as they did because that was a good year, almost 2 years we went with that.
Yeah.
That was a minute. But You know, I'm sorry, Tony. Hope you find love next
time. I got nothing.
Yeah, but you gotta look for
I got
love
nothing for that. I don't,
and not a pocketbook. You're too old to still be just
my thing is, pocketbook. Birdman was a big commitment for just some money because that's an ugly motherfucker. I don't care. Is, but and it's not even money. And it's not even the face. It's all them tattoos.
You know stuff. They didn't break up until he started having tax trouble.
But he got a Heineken logo tattoo on his head.
That big ass
star.
That's a Heineken logo.
The tattoos, period.
It was just too much. Anyway,
I'm trying to put respect on it, but
better put some respect on his name.
I'm trying to put respect on it, but
better put some respect on his name, for he be at the door. We send his people over here. Put some respect on his name.
Respect
with
a K,
right? Not a T. Respect. All right. So was Cat Williams right?
Yes.
Because Tiffany Haddish.
No.
Because with Cat Williams. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. So this is good. All right, this is a good one. So you say no. Tell me why. Wait a minute. Let me tell them why.
No. Because, okay, I don't think what happened New Year's Eve was a testament to her talent because it was a sold-out show.
Clearly. But she's popular like that. She won't sell tickets.
Right.
It was a sold-out show. It's not their comment. She didn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
She was in the clubs.
We know that. Yeah, she definitely built that. That's true.
Her problem was, I think maybe she might have relooked at who is on her team.
Why?
Or maybe she lost touch of where she came from.
Okay.
Grinding club, doing stand up, because that's what
because a lot of stand up comedians they start off in the clubs, but they can't go back.
They start off in the clubs, but they don't have an hour set to do in the clubs.
There is no.
She wasn't headlining.
There is no comedian, none.
That's never bombed. I agree.
Even in the highlight,
the best ones have bombed. But I think the question is, was Cat Williams right? Cat Williams' entire point was she hasn't proven herself as a comedian. She has not. She has not done an hour set most. Well, I couldn't find it either though, and I looked, but it's not to say it ain't out there. What I'm saying,
my thing is this: we know she's done, but
I know she's done clubs where they have
and she's done HBO specials and stuff like that. But that shit gets edited. Right. They can edit out jokes that bomb. They can edit out what people don't laugh.
But it's over. But actually, those specials are over.
And I love Tiffany for the
over more than one day. It's more than one show.
That's what I'm saying. So what Cat Williams was saying was what Cat Williams said. He wasn't saying that she didn't have talent. What he was saying was, has she proven herself to be on that caliber to be able to carry a tour? Right. Has she proven herself to be on the caliber to be wait a minute, calm down. Has she proven herself to night after night be able to carry a show, like you said, go for an hour-long set and do it night after night after night and be funny? Now, her selling out the show wasn't the issue.
That's the easy part.
Right. She's Tiffany Haddish at this point. She's the hottest thing smoking. People are going to pay. Hell, people are going to pay to go see her. The question is, once the people show up, is she funny?
Can you engage them? Can you keep them for an hour?
Because they came to see what they know her to be. Now,
I don't agree with that.
Because that's how they sold it. They bought the ticket for her.
They came for her to Tiffany Haddish, give them comedian,
right? For her to give them what they know. It's a New Year's Eve show in Florida, so it's not it's not diehard, stand up comedian fans, whatever. Man, it's New Year's Eve drinking party.
Right?
They came to see, Tiffany Haddish that they know, whatever the media is blowing up to be or whatever. Now, she fucked up because she forgot she was supposed to be working.
Oh, so she was drunk?
Well, I don't know. She said that later. She said that later.
I mean, from what I read, that she
had partied all night. She didn't get in until in the morning
to work.
She said she just forgot her jokes.
You have a job to do. She fucked up on her job.
So then
period.
So then her charge is that she was unprofessional, not she wasn't funny.
Right.
She wasn't funny too because people literally
because she was unprofessional. When you're unprofessional as a comedian, if you're unprofessional, you're not funny.
People were tweeting from the show though. She just was not good.
Right. If you're unprofessional at your job as a comedian, then that was supposed to happen.
Not being funny is not you don't have to be unprofessional and you can be professional and not be funny.
That's true.
Right. But if she was really on her job,
she would have been funny because that was her job.
Right. She wasn't on her job.
Are you ready for the next comedian? What's the next question? Damn. Is he funny? So if he ain't, I forgot the neck roll. Oh, we went the wrong.
But she wasn't funny. So
yeah.
So like, she was on her job.
Now the one thing
she fucked that up.
The one thing we gotta learn how to stop making excuses with people and just deal with what's in our faces. And what's in our faces is she bombed, and she didn't just bomb; she bombed terribly. Oh, like I went back to Twitter and I was looking at
that is a big show.
Like you're right, it is. It's a huge show, and that's why it's even worse.
Oh, they still asking about R. Kelly. Be patient.
That's
be patient. But my thing is. And I agree.
Why is not Pablo calling me?
Because he's stupid.
Right. Bad as fat boy.
I agree though on what you guys are saying. What I will say though is this about what Tiffany Haddish. The one thing I will respect is that she owned it. She made a public apology. She said, "Yep, that was me. Everything you heard is right."
Sure I understand.
I'm not sure I understand either, Surrey. Shut up. She owned it. You know, she owned it. She said it was me, and she said everything y'all heard was true.
She did not. And
for that, I respect.
But I like Tiffany Haddish. But
now, where her career goes, what she
does. That's not going. That's a blur. That's all she has to do.
She got like 2 or 3 movies coming out.
Well, not only that, but all she got to do is for the rest because she did it's like a little mini tour she's doing. All she got to do is for the rest of them stop, blow that shit out the water, and it's going to be.
But this is going to prove. But this little tour that she's doing is going to prove whether or not. It's really going to prove whether or not Cat Williams is right.
Now, let me say this. Going back to Cat Williams, let me say this. But let me say this about the whole Cat Williams. Oh, what?
I was about to say he's fucked up a grand of shows.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say, too.
Yes.
Cat Williams is not necessarily the guru of comedy that I feel like just because he said it, it makes it true. However, because we know that Cat Williams got his own shit. And I think, honestly, I really do think Cat Williams is a hater. I do. I think that Cat Williams feels like and acts like... feels like and acts like he the only person.
Why is it that when somebody speak up and say something that's has some validity to it, they gotta be hating? It's just a different point of view.
It's not what he said. It's
how he said it.
It was how he went about it. It's how he went about it. It was kind of like
it sounded like he was hating. It did, but then he explained it and she explained it. So
it's okay, but. I was thinking about this. I'm like, what? Because only we do. Okay, it's only supposed to be one person that's on top of comedy,
right? I agree with that.
But who made that rule?
I agree with that. That's across the entertainment platform. Period. It can only be one, especially if they black. It can only be one. I agree because Kevin Hart should not be that one person. In my opinion,
and we will fight back and forth. We will fight back and forth with each other. Who should be?
Oh, and by the way, he's my cousin, people.
Who should be the number one person of whatever? But I'm like,
but my thing is this, and
nobody else does that.
But that's why I say with Cat. That's why I say to me, it came off as being a hater because he acted.
It did when you
because you like Tiffany Haddish and you find Tiffany Haddish funny. Then all of a sudden you don't have taste and you don't know what comedy is about and you don't know real comedy because I find, and don't get me wrong, I don't find everything Tiffany Haddish does funny, but I do enjoy her. I don't find everything Kevin Hart does funny, but I have laughed my ass off sometime at him. I don't find everything Cat Williams does funny, but I have laughed my ass off.
I don't laugh more with Cat than Kevin Hart. I have to admit.
Well, I can't say that.
But I've been to more comedy shows. I've been to more Cat Williams than Kevin Hart because I like his style of comedy better than Kevin Hart. That's all it boils down to. He's my cousin.
I wouldn't even consider myself a Tiffany Haddish fan of her stand-up.
Me either, because I've Googled it.
I don't find her stand-up to be
I respect what she's done.
Yeah,
right.
But she grind.
It wasn't like
where she came from to get where
it wasn't like she just came out of nowhere and she just she jumped on the right person at the right time and bam. You can find old videos of her and her comedy.
That's what I said. I've Googled her, but she's not very funny.
and you could find
stuff that people write for her is funnier than her original material.
So, and that's what Cat Williams was saying. Also, my opinion. She could read the lines. Now, where I disagree with Cat Williams is somebody can read the lines, but the delivery
exactly, and her delivery and her timing is on point in every scene. And I like Tiffany,
the thing from us, the consumer, as we're buying tickets, going to the shows, watching the movies, and all of that. Do we care who wrote the joke?
I don't.
That's just
that's never even a topic of conversation. We never say, "Well, I wonder who wrote that joke," or "I wonder who wrote that rap." Because if y'all didn't tell us, we wouldn't know.
That's the same thing with rap,
especially if it goes well. And
everybody make a big deal about who writes, whether Drake writes his rap. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care either. I don't listen to Drake music.
I don't care if Cardi B write a rap. I don't care.
And I love Cardi B, and I don't care if she never write a song that she performs.
For entertainment, in the entertainment industry, us black folks will fight each other tooth and nail over who's supposed to be the number one,
right?
Of whatever, agree. And why.
I agree with you that it
can be number one. Kevin can be number one. Like everybody have their time to shine, do big tours and all that, and put movies out and all of that. There's space for that. There's money for it. We've proven it. White folks have already done it. I'm just saying. Why are we fighting?
I'm not
over it.
I'm
not fighting about it because
what is this beef? It doesn't make sense.
Because I like her, but I still feel like she is not proven as a comedian, and I feel like this hurts her more than helps her. But I'm hoping that the rest of her tour, she's going to be on point.
You know what? No, it could be.
Is that your name? Oh, that's
boy.
So it could be.
And he called him from.
It could be actually. It could be to her. It could be just a lesson.
And I do think it was a lesson.
If she's really,
and I think she learned it. We're going to see if she learned it. Let me say that.
We'll see.
But you know they're going to make sure they cover
stand up.
They're going to cover the next show.
Of the story.
If she's really trying to really keep her hand in stand up, because I'm pretty sure she got that advice from Kevin. Like, yo, just because he's never let stand up go.
Right. Yeah. He was. Kevin, I can tell you was like that he was just a clown as a kid. He was the same way he is now as a kid.
Like he
and I'm older than him.
He said that. So
he was annoying as a kid. That kind of clown.
He's annoying.
I'm just saying, but business wise, it's working for him. So
I ain't take nothing from him business.
And I'm sure he's gave her the same. Like if you're going to keep doing comedy, doing movies, you guys still do stand up. I'm pretty sure he gave her the same advice. So. We'll see what happens, what Tiffany does next.
Right. We'll see. All right. Well, what you all been waiting for, I don't think nobody in here with us, but we're going to still keep it moving. The aura of the Kelly, which has been all burning up the internet, has been burning up.
Why? I don't understand why.
Okay.
You don't understand why.
Tell me what you don't understand why.
Why? Because, okay, this is a series to tell us what we already know.
No. Learning new stuff.
I'm about to say. Now let me say this.
New stuff. I just watched it again before I came over.
So we're just learning how bad it really was.
We're learning more details. Allegedly. We gotta say allegedly. We gotta say allegedly.
I don't like that alleged stuff when you're hearing from the victims themselves.
But again, we gotta say allegedly. But what I'm saying is this.
Oh, here?
No, it's.
Well, what we're saying is not.
It's a show.
But what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying. So,
it's a show.
So what I'm saying is this. You are saying that it's stuff we already heard. Let me say this. Now, there were 2 episodes that came on last night. 2 are coming on tonight, and 2 will be on tomorrow. The first episode that came on last night, the first hour. Who that?
Amy 126.
What up? The episode that came on last night, the first episode was basically stuff we already knew. If you know anything about R. Kelly, a lot of that you knew. But that second episode...
But the first episode, you know what I really didn't like? I don't care about where he came from and all that stuff. Like, y'all could have left that out. I didn't care about that. Because to me, that's giving people who feel like R. Kelly...
Hey, Ebony...
R. Kelly deserved, didn't do this or deserves our sympathy. That's giving them that whole opening that they did, though, on the first part that glorified R. Kelly. They could have done without that part, in my opinion, because all that did was give credence to all of these people who feel like, as a 3-year-old, I was molested. My mom said to me one time, how do you remember that? You never forget somebody violating you. You just never, unless I was probably 18 months, but you never forget it. So for them to put that part, and I know you trying to show a sequence in order here, but for them to, I felt like the first 30 minutes was about R. Kelly, and I was disappointed. I was really disappointed because this is not about, I don't care that he was molested, because that doesn't give you the right to molest somebody else. So don't show that, so then all of his supporters can now be like, see, he was molested. He was molested.
Click a lot.
I don't care about that.
Click a lot. I'm going to say this. For me, I hear what you're saying, and I hear what your point is. But for me, I did not have a problem with that, because I do think it's important. Not as an excuse, because I don't have no excuses for him. Not as an excuse, but hurt people hurt people.
I agree.
When you were violated and when you were exposed, there are a lot of people who continue that. So I felt like they were bringing that up and they were sharing it as a way to explain, not to explain his demons, because I can't say what he would or wouldn't have done without that, but to say, you know what? He was violated, and to me, it leads credence that it would be easier for him to go out and violate somebody else. Now, I'm going to tell you what bothered me. Now, that didn't bother me, and I hear what you say, and I agree with what you say. I make no excuses. None.
I just cannot. I can't sympathize with the victimizer. I just cannot. Maybe it's because I'm too involved, but I cannot.
I'm a survivor as well, so it's not that. But what I will say is this, because I don't make an excuse just because something happened to you that makes it okay for you to go out and do it to somebody else. But what I will say is that for me, listening to both of his brothers, it was some shit went down in that house.
Yeah.
Because did you hear in the second episode with the older brother talking about, now this is some bullshit right here. His older brother who in jail, by the way. He talking about some everybody got a preference. I don't see what the big deal is. I like older women. He like younger women. What's the problem? What's wrong with that?
Don't see the problem?
What that says to me is there is I'm sounding like Ayanla. There's a pathology, a cycle. I'm serious.
You're right. There's a vicious cycle.
There's a cycle there, because for you to sit there and be like, I don't understand what the big deal is because he like younger women. There's a difference between having a preference of dating 20-year-olds when you in your 40s and dating a 12-year-old when you in your 30s. It's two totally different things. Now, let me say this. The first episode, so I hear what you're saying. The first episode, though, it sort of gave you, again, I didn't learn a whole lot I didn't already know. The only thing I sort of learned...
Seems like molestation has been normalized for the Kelly family.
I would agree with that, definitely.
I would definitely agree with that. What I will say, what I didn't know was when they got married, they thought Aaliyah was pregnant. Either Leah was pregnant or they thought she was pregnant. And that I did not know.
Either.
Because
But people were speculating
allegedly.
People were speculating that Aaliyah must have been pregnant.
Because Aaliyah's mama's mad as hell.
But here, okay, you want to jump to that? Sit your ass down, mama. Sit your ass down, mama, because if you want to see words, you got to be careful how you use them and when you use them. Because if you want to put out a message that says that her parents were there with her every moment,
there's no way in the world.
You weren't, because if you were, your 15-year-old daughter would not have married a 27-year-old man.
You were not.
It wouldn't have happened. You weren't there. So I can understand that she doesn't want her daughter named drugged through the mud. But this is not even about Aaliyah, but it can be, so that it can be a lesson to people, young girls who are coming up, who old men like Robert Kelly prey on.
But once again, we're making, by you not wanting.
I'm so mad with her statement.
By you not wanting to accept what happened to your child. I get your child's not here to defend herself. I get that you don't want the image of Aaliyah, but it's already out there, boo. It ain't nothing. It's out there. It is what it is. But here's again, this is how R. Kelly gets away or has gotten away with this shit. It's because people keep making excuses. People keep covering his ass. People keep not alerting the authorities. People keep normalizing the fucking behavior.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, or at least that's one of the problems. And so when we sit here and we say you're going to release a statement saying we were with our child the whole time.
In the black community.
Yeah, because had these been a bunch of little white girls, this would be a whole different
public record.
What's public record? Read it out loud.
Aaliyah's mother needs to come out with the truth. It's public record.
Yeah. I mean, wait, the public record that they got married.
Google the wedding license.
I honestly
just
think
Google the wedding license. She really married
I can't hear what he's saying. Wait a minute.
Lady Reed says, I honestly think molestation is normalized in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I only say this because everyone I know has experienced it. Their parents act as if it's normal occurrence because it happened to them too.
Yeah,
I have a lot. I know. I can honestly say that if I know 100 people, 90% of them were violated at some point in their life, and most of it before they were of the age of consent.
Yeah,
it has been normalized, and it is a silent. It's a silent. It's a silent crime.
Only rate is attempted.
Huh?
I said only rate is an attempted.
Okay, so but again, attempt or success, that means that somebody preyed on you. Whether they were successful, right. That's what I'm saying. So whether they were successful in it happening. So again, it goes back to the statement that it's normalized, that somebody thought that it was okay. Now, whether they were successful in doing it or not, and then, of course, for men, the stigma is greater because then what's the first thing people say? Oh, you gay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he must have been gay. Whatever. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not, rape is never about sex. It's about power. It's about control. And so I will say this. I have absolutely no sympathy for R. Kelly at all. Let's not even get that twisted. However, it is important to note that he was a victim, and that molded him living because his brother said when we moved out the projects is when our lives got fucked up. It sounds to me like they moved in with a family member or moved around some family that didn't protect them.
Whatever this woman was, she violated
both or man.
Well, did he say R. Kelly said woman. And I just assumed from listening to the brother that it's the same person.
Well, I'm thinking it's the same person, but I didn't know that he said
R. Kelly said it's
you had your hand raised, sir.
I just, because, I'm the only dude on this show.
Right, you are.
I'm not trying to.
Male representation in the room at this moment.
Like, I got to represent all of the men?
No.
This is kind of pressure. This is a lot of pressure.
I don't represent all women, so no.
A lot of pressure.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, I'm upset at every adult involved, around.
All the motherfuckers that was in that documentary need their ass in jail too.
I'm upset at every adult.
Yeah.
Available for this whole series of events. Every adult.
I agree. Just did you see the cop that they talked to? He was a Chicago police officer. Who I guess his beat was was Kenwood High School.
Oh yeah,
and he told us something. I used to see R. Kelly all the time, and I was wondering why he was here. Motherfucker, you were the police.
But because like people have said, because he was R. Kelly.
But at that point, he was just at the beginning. You ain't nobody.
But in Chicago, remember in Chicago, he was. You're right.
So that's what I'm saying.
He could do anything he wanted to do, and that's why he skated on the trial.
No way.
I couldn't believe that a jury of grown people let him go.
Well, he skated on the trial because a lot of people, the women wouldn't testify.
Right. Well, that's true. That too.
But it's
if ain't nobody testifying, what you gonna convict? I mean, you had
the Sparkle story hasn't changed.
Sparkle story ain't never changed.
Sparkle story has been the same from the beginning.
But her niece still won't tell her story.
Her niece still won't talk.
No. Niece still won't talk. You see, they had to blur pictures of her out. Niece
she don't want to be a part of it.
Nope.
But she could be traumatized too.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, she has to be. She was 12 years old.
I believe she was. You're right. I believe that little girl. I just hope and pray that her parents got her into some good therapy.
Too. I mean,
so that she could have a semblance of a normal life.
She was 12 years old. She was performing, according to the documentary, performing threesomes. According to the sodomy, abuse. So that has to be traumatic.
But the threesome it's important to say that the threesome, we know that a 12-year-old was having a threesome with R. Kelly because the third party to that threesome said it in the documentary.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why we know,
So here's the part. Okay, so you didn't look at the documentary. So I know you're getting bits and pieces. So let's sort of go a little. Let's go in a little bit of some. Let's get in some order. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first episode, like me and Pat was saying, it's sort of.
Okay, I watched some of it. Don't put me out there like that.
All right, that's fine. Sort of laid that groundwork, which most of us we already knew. I didn't really learn a lot of new information in that first episode, but now the second episode is where they started really getting into the actual examples of abuse. And there were 3 young ladies that we met in this episode. One by proxy through her aunt, which was Sparkle. Mm-hmm. One, she was a Latino young lady. I don't have the names in front of me. Met her down in Florida at the mall. They said that's the other thing he would do. Whenever he was touring, he would go to a city. He would go to the mall. Who hangs out at the fucking mall?
Kids.
Teenagers.
Kids.
So she met him at the mall. And the third young lady, she met him on a photo on a video shoot. Now that's the young lady that I think a lot of people were saying, where was the mother? Where was the mother? Where was the mother? Because for the Latino young lady, she was
17 when she came into the picture.
She was 17 when she came into the picture. And let's be honest, she wanted to be a singer. She was an aspiring singer. He was a singer. He kept saying he was going to help her career. Most parents.
Remember, he said, will your mom let you come to Chicago? I think it was.
That was the third.
That was the no. He asked the Latino girl that.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah,
okay.
He asked the
I know the third young lady. That's what. And she said she told her mother. See, people keep wanting to blame the parents, but she said she told her mother. She said, "I'm going, whether you let me go or not." And she said, so my mother relented because she knew I was going one way or the other. So my thing is this: you got a 17-year-old daughter. She's made it clear to you. This don't have nothing to do with being fast, being disrespectful, whatever. You starstruck. You're a young kid. But you got this superstar that's saying he want to spend time with you, and you done told your mama.
But
I'm going one way or the other.
In the girl's defense, in the beginning, it wasn't about. I think it was more about they really thought they were going to have a career, and they thought because this is R. Kelly, they're going to have a career. He flew them out of Chicago. Yeah, he flew them out.
Yeah, he flew. So what I'm saying is, I don't understand why now, and I'm not gonna go back down to Aaliyah path, but I don't now. Even in Aaliyah's situation, her uncle, who was R. Kelly's manager at the time, was really. I mean, wait a minute.
Without parent consent, like the fly?
Wait, can you finish? Can you really?
That's easy. Okay.
Can you finish? Let me.
Go ahead. Stop yelling at me.
I wasn't yelling. I was just trying to finish my sentence. So what I'm saying though is. Let's even in Aaliyah's situation, yeah, her mother's making these unfortunate statements today, but even in Aaliyah's situation, I don't necessarily blame her parents on the front end. On the front end, because she met R. Kelly through her uncle.
Right. They entrusted their daughter to Barry Hankerson.
Exactly.
So I don't even her uncle. That's her uncle.
Cousin or uncle.
Somebody's family member.
He's a family member. And remember, again, Aaliyah was going to a performing arts high school. Yeah. Aaliyah was a singer. Aaliyah was out there trying to do her thing before she even met R. Kelly. So it's not like she was just sitting somewhere in a corner. Like, this is somebody who wanted, and so like you said, he preyed on those dreams. Now, Aaliyah is one of the few artists that he did actually make good on. Because Aaliyah, I mean, her debut album did something, and then after they
made good numbers,
after they split, she did her thing with Timbaland and all of that, and Missy Elliott and stuff. So Sparkle made a splash, but it didn't last, and I'm thinking it probably had a lot to do with what was going on behind the scenes.
Sparkle, her album was nice. Her debut album I know that she came out with. She can sing. Her album was really, really nice. Of course, what do you expect? It was produced by R. Kelly.
Right. Now going back to what you were saying, as far as flying as an unaccompanied minor, a 17-year-old is not, because they're under 18, but they wouldn't be holding on to them like an unaccompanied minor.
They can fly unaccompanied.
Right. They can fly when I went to Jacksonville coming back, there was a young man on our flight. He was an unaccompanied minor. He had to walk onto the flight with a flight attendant. He had paperwork. When he got off the flight, he had to wait for somebody to walk him to who was picking him up, and they had to have ID that matched this. So yes, but that's I don't know what the age cutoff is, but that ain't 17. That's 17. You can get your ass on the flight.
I was flying by myself at 17.
Now, unless it's some sort of international flight, might be a little more strict, but on a regular flight, hell yeah.
Okay, now with all of this,
okay, let's listen.
Now, what y'all done inform me of?
All right, we informing.
All right, cool. How is he still free?
So he's free because when he went on trial, when he should have been locked up, black women would not believe that this was R. Kelly. They didn't want to believe it, and that's who let him off. Black women. He should be locked up today. Did you see the video of him urinating on this girl? That girl was 14 in the video. The same girl, Sparkle's niece, is 14 in the video.
I'm gonna say this.
No. Lady V, I agree with everything you're saying, boo.
Look at
no.
Oh, look at him talking about
no. I did not see that video.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I'm about to tell our business.
Absolutely not.
I'm about to tell some of me and Pat business.
With a serious face,
right? Though. But I'm about to tell some of me and Pat business. Right. I ain't gonna say no names because I'm gonna protect the guilty and the innocent. Okay. But the first time I didn't see the video was at the clubhouse.
That was the first time you didn't see it?
Yeah, that was the first time I hadn't seen it.
The first time you didn't see it. That is hilarious. I like it.
The first time I hadn't seen it. Okay. So anyway,
that was your first time seeing it.
Years
black girls are not protected or valued.
That was years ago. But yeah, so
wait, hold on. What? Comment. Ebony.
What Ebony say?
Cosby said he is free because black girls are not protected or valued. Well, Cosby is locked up, but I agree with you that a huge part of the problem is our girls. But
her name is Cosby.
Her name is Cosby. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so why you put her?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cosby. I'm sorry, not you, Cosby.
Ebony
Uncle Bill.
Cosby.
I'm sorry. Cosby. Just kidding. Not
we ain't
Uncle
even
Bill.
drunk. That's the funny part. We ain't even drinking like that. I mean, we drinking, but not like that. Shut up. Me, I haven't.
Speak for yourself.
I said I haven't.
Because black girls are truly undervalued. But it starts in the black community. In the black community, we undervalue black girls and black women. Look at what just happened in Florida in McDonald's. And these two black guys at least stood by. And while you try to pull a black girl off of a white man that's trying to beat on her, you should have been whipping his ass, but they didn't. But
why you celebrity?
It's sad. We as a people have to do better. We as a black people have to do better to protect our women and girls. We have to do better.
And Mimi, I agree with you, Mimi. The other thing was people did not testify. That's another reason why he got off. Here's the thing, and this is the
money. Money is very, very powerful when you have it,
and especially when you have low standards.
You can use it for bad, or you can use it for good.
No. The promise of money,
right?
Not even money.
They don't even have to
promise because the young lady down in Florida. Remember, he gave her mono, which evolved into
Bless you.
I can't think of the name of it because that's what they thought I had when I was in the hospital. That was one of the things they tested me for. When she was in ICU.
Who are you talking about?
The Latino girl down in Florida, the one he gave her mono and then and she was in ICU, and he gave her mother $1,000.
Yeah,
bitch, I wish I would.
$1,000.
Bitch, I wish I would. She almost died, and he gave her $1,000. That was on top of the fact that he had been beating her ass.
Yeah,
for years because she was with him for a couple of years.
Did you notice how every one of, including Andrea, every one of those girls had the same story?
Yeah, everybody ain't.
I had to ask him daddy. I had to call him daddy. I had to ask him could I eat. I had to ask him could I go to the bathroom. I couldn't look at other men. I couldn't be in the presence of other men.
Ebony said we also need our black men to stand and protect us like we always expected.
Amen, Ebony. Amen. We as black women, we go over and beyond for our black men. But when the tides are turned, and we see it every day, if you look on what's that thing? The violent black website that people always go to for
World Star.
Yes, every day you see black girls being assaulted on World Star. And I only know about it because my son, and I told him to stop watching that shit.
It's usually black girls fighting other black girls.
You see all of that. Black girls being assaulted. You see all of that. It's ridiculous.
But again,
it's ridiculous.
But even with that, again, these types of things normalize that behavior.
That is not nothing. That's not a versus thing. That's a community thing.
A black community thing.
It's a black community thing. It's not because it's not. black man versus black
woman. But they
said,
look at the people they said, and they said in celebrities, they said in athletes.
Finish my sentence.
I'm sorry.
That is a community thing. Just as a community, because there's only one video that I've seen where actually man stood up and actually broke up a fight.
That's what I'm saying. You don't see that stuff that often.
It's like it's just I don't know what it is when it happened, but all of a sudden, what was supposed to be the strong black community turned into I'm trying to get to where the celebrity is. I don't care who I have to step on.
Well, the internet came around. That's what happened.
I don't care who I had to step on.
The internet came around.
The internet came on for everybody. For everybody.
It's not just
us.
Well,
stop.
It's not just black people, though.
Stop it. But as a whole, popularity of anything comes from us. Nobody knows what's cool unless we designate it as cool.
I do agree that the greatest form of flattery
of America is us. So, but we will destroy us on a personal level and step on each other to try to get higher for one person. And we will all, when one person gets up there, everybody else that got stepped on will turn around and be like, oh yeah, that's the man or the woman, or whatever, and it's sad.
You lost me.
Me too.
Why is that? We will kill it.
So only one black person can be at the top at a time. I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's in different areas, though. Especially in entertainment, it's across the board.
But while we doing that, for one person be on top of the time, every other. Remember? All right, white folks or whatever. There's 5 or 6 of them
because they're used to being in charge. Of
doing the exact same thing, but
because they're used.
How does that?
That's the norm
let me
for
say
them.
This. But let me say this, y'all. But hold on, though. Let me say this. I don't want to go too deep.
I hate it.
Lady V went deep for me. I don't want to go too deep because we can take this shit all the way back to slavery and how we were indoctrinated and how we were. That was a learned behavior that was passed down from generation to generation. Even when you look at part of the reason why our education system is fucked up now is because Brown versus Board of Education. Not because the problem with Brown versus Board of Education was never the separate. It was the equal.
Yeah.
If they had ever made the schools equal, it was never an issue with us being in our own schools and getting educated by our own people. The problem was that the schools were never equal. Right. And as soon as segregation was ended, and as soon as the other thing about black communities was no matter whether you were a doctor, a lawyer, or a janitor, or a bus driver, y'all all had to live in the same fucking neighborhood because no matter how much money you had in most places, you still couldn't live on the other side of the tracks. But as soon as integration came around, then the first thing people who had money did was they left the community. They went to the white side of town because in their mind, white was right. And they didn't worry about who they left behind. They didn't worry about what happened to the community after they moved out. And so we can go deep and we can take it there because it's indoctrinated. It is a system of indoctrination.
The neighborhoods was on purpose.
What
black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods?
No. We know it was on purpose. What I'm saying to you is the minute that those barriers were torn down and people could now buy the house in that neighborhood or move to that side of town, they did it. But when segregation existed, the bus driver and the doctor lived right next door to each other.
Because when we had our own and built up our own neighborhood, they always burned it down.
And always there were a couple instances
in history.
But there was a couple
that made it.
But there was a great system. But there was a great system that was developed. It was great neighborhoods that were built that were strong. You know what I'm saying? So we know there were examples of it happening. But if you want to go there, we can go there. But at the end of the day, where we are now, let's get back to where we are now. Let's get back to where we are now. Let's talk about the fact that, all these people were around R. Kelly and knew he was doing some shit that wasn't right, and nobody said nothing. Nobody, because let's even go back to his trial. If half the motherfuckers, and I'm not talking about the kids who were violated. I'm not talking about the young ladies
from the documentary.
I'm talking about those adults that will sit down now and talk to fucking Lifetime. Had they called the fucking district attorney for Cook County when R. Kelly was on trial and said, I will testify. This is what I saw. This is what I'm a witness to. What? That motherfucker would have went to jail.
Something else that I thought about, and I'm in no way saying that she is a reason why he's free. But I feel like had Andrea been in a place at that time during that trial,
she was being just as victimized.
But you know, and we just on the second part, and we're learning the extent. And then it's so bad that she's like, I can't talk about it because I don't want to go back to that dark place.
Yep.
Like this man has.
When Sparkle said that I don't want to call her a bitch. When Sparkle said that chick was knocking on the door to ask if she could come out and get something to eat, and they were sitting on the couch watching the motherfucking NBA finals, I said,
his wife, not one of his victims. Well, his wife was a victim.
She was a victim,
but she was his wife. Yeah, his wife. She was his wife, and she could not stand in the role of wife.
Nope. She had to ask permission.
But to me,
you're right, Ebony. Ebony said these women. Ebony said they weren't about to stop the gravy train. She right.
That's just what I was about to say.
Mimi said it started with slavery when families were broken apart and slave masters kicked. Yep, there you go. Yep. Yeah,
but we can't blame slavery for everything. We gotta take responsibility.
It's not about blaming slavery, but it's about that we can't.
I agree that
there was an
slavery is a part of our history, and through slavery, the process of the Black family breaking down began. I agree 1,000%. But to me, I can't go out here and chop off some man dick and be like, you just remind me of my molester from when I was 3, or from when I was molested by a family member in the 7th grade.
Could if he was white.
If I was white, but as a Black woman, I can't do that, because if I did, I would be locked up.
But even if we want to bring it forward, all right, so we don't have to go all the way back to slavery.
Right.
Let's bring it forward. The crack epidemic further destroyed the black community and the Black family. And once again,
and men just decided not to be men anymore, walking out from their families, all aided in the breakdown of the Black family.
And once again, we can look at the difference between how America's treated the crack epidemic and how they're now treating the opioid crisis. Notice
it's a crisis because the opioids affect more white people than Black people, so it's a crisis. Of course, but to white people it is, because Becky and Johnny keep going out here falling victim to opioids, so it's a problem for them.
Becky and Johnny was smoking crack. Here's the thing, though.
But they weren't breaking up Becky and Johnny's family.
But the mothers and fathers not leaving.
I'm just
okay. But let's get back to Ara. So
Ara.
In the documentary, so like I was saying, in part 2, we saw the 3 women. So we had the 12-year-old who was Sparkle's niece. Now, all right, and again,
who Sparkle is speaking for,
who she's speaking for, whether she wants it to or not. We have, like I said, the Latino young lady who was in Florida, and then we have the other young lady who.
What's the little girl?
Her name was Lisa.
I can't remember her name. She ran off crying.
We haven't gotten her whole story yet.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. She couldn't finish.
She couldn't even talk. We didn't get her whole story yet. Yeah, so we didn't get her name yet.
That's episode 3.
Well, tonight they're going to be talking about the sex tape.
Yes, tonight starts the trial stuff.
Because remember the sex tape was anonymously delivered. So for all we know, somebody who's sitting there did deliver that tape. For all we know,
I thought Sparkle was the one who delivered the tape.
All things considered, you had to be there.
I thought in court she said she was the one who delivered.
I'll get clarification tonight. I only saw the preview. In the preview, the DA was saying that they got.
I'm just trying to remember from back then.
And maybe, and again, you know how they just show the previews. They may go further to explain, because I honestly don't remember from there. I remember Sparkle wanting to testify, and I remember her.
She did testify,
right? And I remember that's how we found out that it was her niece on the tape, and her niece would not testify. I do remember that. Now, the other young lady that was in the tape, I don't know if it's the young lady that we saw last night, or if it was a different young lady, because it was a threesome.
Yeah, it was, the pissing thing was a threesome.
Right.
Oh no, the pissing thing is the Hispanic
thing.
Girl and the 14-year-old.
Is that what it was? Okay, see, I don't remember.
I can't remember
because I never saw the tape.
But I thought I thought it was the Hispanic girl who.
Well, that shouldn't be laughing.
And
maybe it's because I shouldn't be laughing.
Oh, you know what? Because
I mean, I said we. I'm
just laughing
because today I was looking at. I looked at the second part again, and then I was looking at the trailer for the new part, and I think it's the Hispanic girl who's with them in the threesome when the pissing stuff is going on.
Okay, all right. And again, I said this in my review because I did do a review last night. Like as soon as I watched it, just off the top of my head.
You woke me up with that.
I wake you up. Ain't my fault.
What? Because this phone made a noise.
Oh,
I looked at it. It was you.
What?
I did the same thing.
Oh, really?
I was nodding.
Because I saw that shit last night. That thing. The first episode, I was like,
yeah.
But that second
one, I was like, that's why I had to re-look at it again today.
That thing turned my stomach.
I just can't believe.
It's like I watched it,
but that just shows you the power of money. I can't believe that all these girls allow him. You know, you gotta call me daddy, but you're not my daddy. Why should I have to call you daddy?
Wait. But how much money? You say the parents have money. Like, how much money is money? Like,
I don't know.
Exactly.
I have girls. Exactly. So I'm like, how much money is that?
Not enough.
That made you like. I'm trying to understand. Like,
but again, remember. But also
understand.
Also, though, remember, you guys, and I say remember, I mean in general,
the times
that young girls.
When we weren't alone. We first met.
You make me fucking sick. When you made me lose my damn train of thought. Damn you, the girls.
Yep.
These are young, impressionable girls.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls, you notice that you didn't hear none of those girls talk about their father. The Latino girl didn't talk about her father. The other young lady, she talked about her mom. Both of them talked about their mother. So these were, we've seen it. We went to school with girls like this. I've known, as an educator, I've known girls like this that they are looking for that person. And so they mistake.
You're saying dads are important?
Dads are very important.
So they mistake.
So sorry, we're at that state where I hear girls probably saying you don't need your father. You do need your father. You need both of your. Both influences are equally as important in your child's upbringing. Like we got to do better. As parents, we got to do better.
But that's the thing with. That's why it pisses me off when I hear people say, "Oh, these girls were fast," or "Oh, they were this over that." No. We all had those girls that we knew, and it might have been us, that we were looking for love. We didn't have it at home, or we didn't get what we thought, or we had this romanticized idea of what love was, or like both of those young ladies admitted, they were drawn to the idea. They were both trying to get into the industry, and R. Kelly promised he would help them, and they thought both of them said
that was the recurring thing, though. Right.
So R. Kelly's a liar,
right? He praised on that. Every girl, not one of even the girls that we know about in today's compound, not one of them has gone to him because they were endeared to the celebrity lifestyle. They really went because they either wanted to be a dancer, they wanted to be a singer, or they wanted to be a rapper. Each one of them came with a goal, and it wasn't to be R. Kelly's sex slave.
And both of them said that they were uncomfortable with the sexual advances, but they didn't know how to stop it. No. Yep. And a lot of young ladies, once again, and that's why it pisses me off when I hear people make they defend these fucking rapists and these predators, because a 16-year-old
underage, man.
But it's not even that. A 16-year-old, a 17-year-old does not always have the voice. They don't always know the words. They don't know how to say no.
Even though it seems so simple.
A lot of them are
dads. No. When they say no, it's a crime after that.
But what I'm saying is a lot of girls, but you're missing what I'm saying, Will. A lot of girls don't know how to say no, so they didn't say no. In their mind, they were saying no, but they didn't know, or they were afraid to say no, because like the one girl, she said, I knew that I wanted him to help me with my career, but I knew that it was never going to be that once I slept with him, but I didn't know how to stop it. So she didn't verbally say no. And at the time, she was 17, so I don't know what the age of consent is in Florida, but it may not have been a crime at that moment in Florida because she was 17, and I don't know what the age of consent is. Because in like in Maryland, the age of consent is 16. So
I think federally it's 16.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is in that moment, he may not have necessarily been quote unquote breaking the law, but that young girl. Wait a minute,
because he's an adult.
No, right. That's what I'm saying.
No. When okay,
well, if you're underage, if I'm
but
like a 17-year-old.
But the age of consent is 16.
If the age of consent is 16, so it doesn't matter.
It's like if I'm under 18.
Some states have that caveat,
but you know what? It's a double
doesn't.
standard because the age of consent is 16. But if you, as a grown man, came onto a 16-year-old, she can then
if you're an adult,
she can then go to the police.
Universally, if you're an adult, if you're over 18, you're an adult. Anybody's under 18.
See, and that's where I think the laws get a little iffy because I know that if you're 16 and a grown man, anyway, sexually,
I sat through many of what do you call it? What is it?
That's what I'm saying. I know that if a grown man
classes or whatever, if you are over 18, if you're a man, you're over 18. If you
I think that's the federal law.
Anybody under the age of 18. You are a rapist.
That's not true, though. That's not true. That's not true.
That's just
you might.
Generally
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that's not what you were taught. What I'm saying to you is because again, I've seen in my career now, there are situations where if the child is 17, that man could be 21. If she's over the age of consent, there's nothing the parents can do. There's nothing the police can do. There's nothing the parents can do. She's over the age of consent.
But
or he.
I mean, maybe it's the.
But it is a double standard because I've seen them right here in Maryland take people to court.
You say I didn't want
for girls who are 16 and 17.
I did not want to have
so it is a double standard. And
now there are certain situations that based on your job. Like when I worked at the jail. Like when I worked at the jail,
but this situation doesn't matter because that was all like kids.
I'm just saying, like when I worked at the jail, an inmate came
12 years old.
It was all kids, so it didn't matter in this situation. It's all kids.
But that's what I'm saying. In the situation with the 17-year-old, she wasn't. That's what I'm saying. So the point I was trying to make, how we got off the tangent, the point I was trying to make was at her being 17 in that moment, based on whatever the age of consent is in Florida, he may not have technically been breaking the law. However, as a 17-year-old, she still didn't have the words or the voice to say, I don't want this to happen. Now, again, the 14-year-old, the 12-year-old, Aaliyah was 15, like all of that, that's a no-brainer. But I'm just talking about...
Aaliyah was actually younger, though.
When they met, he met Aaliyah when she was 13, I think
she was 12 or 13. She was real young when they met. Because by the time they actually got married, she was actually only 15 when they got married. When they got married,
and lied of the paperwork, lied and said.
But the boy who did it already came forth and said how bad he feel about having the paperwork forged to show that she was 18. But he did it because they thought she was pregnant.
Right.
Either way.
It's all messed up
and sadly, the statute of limitations has run out, but everyone involved
that's why
needs to do some jail time.
That's the only reason.
Everyone that's involved.
So let me say this. So to switch gears, to switch gears a little bit, because we're going to wrap it up in a few minutes. But to switch gears a little bit, so the internet conversations today. I know for myself, I've seen some things on my Facebook. Let me say this. I would say 95 to 98% of what I saw on my Facebook was condemning R. Kelly, was saying that he was all of the things that we said he was. But I did still have that 5 to 7% of people who were defending that, not defending him, but what about those girls were fast? What about the parents? I still want to buy his music. He's a musical genius. I'm gonna separate the man from the.
But you know what? Until your daughter, your sister, your niece, your granddaughter, your goddaughter come home and tell you that she's the victim, and then the whole story, whole conversation changes.
Stuff is always subjective. People are always subjective.
Those few people who agree with R. Kelly, I just say check your heart. Because nobody, I don't care what, no child deserves to be taken advantage of by an adult. Not a male child, not a female child.
Agreed.
That's not our lot in life. We are here to guide these kids. not to take advantage of them. And R. Kelly takes advantage of kids.
Absolutely.
Like, and he like continues to do it.
Piper.
Right, exactly. That's the other thing. Yeah. He calls himself the Pied Piper.
So why
are you? I'm just you the man in the room. That's why
you seem angry at me. Why did you never told you, man? I wasn't there. I was not.
So what's your favorite excuse? You said your favorite one. What was the one you heard?
My favorite one was hey, y'all remember them grown ass men pick you up from high school when you was in high school?
I saw that too.
No,
that wasn't me. I didn't play that. That wasn't me. But I saw that.
I can admit that I dated older guys. I never dated no 30-year-old when I was in high school, but I did date older guys.
I didn't. I wanted to, but my mom took me to make sure my hymen was intact until I graduated high school. Well,
so
nobody really wanted to go out with me because they didn't want to do it with my mother. Yeah, she didn't play, so no, I never. And plus, as a child, I remember my grandmother be in church with a 22 in her breast because I was a kid, 8, 9, 10, yeah, little old gun, and I was like a kid. I'm 8, 9, 10 years old, but I had a big butt, and the grown men.
Can I lie?
I have. Probably will again. But no, but the grown men, the things that they used to say and they used to like be
I'm trying to picture making sure you hugging grandma real carefully, like
my grandma didn't play.
Those don't have the right to take advantage of a child.
Exactly. They do not. They do not. And thank God when I went through this, I'm 54 years old. When I went through this, wasn't no internet and cell phone coverage and all that foolishness. By the grace of God, because I just shudder to think how many of them grown men would have been taking pictures of my ass like perverts. The things that they were saying was enough to make my grandmother have to go to church with the 22 in her bra because she was like, the minute one of them touch you, we're going to have this service at the same day.
The sermon going to be
she wasn't playing.
Gonna be the eulogy. It's gonna just
she was like, we having this service the same day, Trisha. I'm not playing. And she wasn't playing. Like, so I don't care how attractive a grown man might find a kid. You have to say no.
Back at church, though?
At church. That's what the worst
I'm about to say, the worst. You know. Come on.
Do I know?
You do know.
I don't
you went to Catholic school. You know.
And I went to Catholic school, too.
Just for high school.
It don't matter.
You went for only 3 years because
it don't matter. It don't matter.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, and that's what honestly.
Don't you put me in that woman.
That's probably what's the most frustrating with this whole situation because that is why R. Kelly has gotten away with it for so long is because people continue to make excuses for him and find reasons. And you know what pisses me, and it's the same thing with the Bill Cosby.
How has nobody not punched him in the face by now?
How has a record label not dropped his ass by now? But he makes them too much money, so they won't.
Well, I don't think, does he have a record label right now?
I do not know. My question was more physical. The business
why he ain't got
how is not get punched in the face?
Because a lot of these girls don't have daddies
and brothers and families.
They gotta be a crazy uncle or something. Nothing.
I don't know.
Nobody.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
But what I'm gonna say though is this though for
and me, how much money has he spent paying people off behind the scene? Unfortunately, the power of a dollar is long and far.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Woo.
But one of the things that pisses me off the most,
please,
explain. Well, the defense, the excuse making, and this is the other one. Well, I just can't. I can separate the man from the music. Bitch.
But
what?
The girls even explain the music in the second part. Each song got a story behind it. And each song,
You Are Not Alone was about the girl,
the Latino
girl who she got pregnant. She had a miscarriage. He wasn't there. Didn't she say she almost committed suicide or something? And he wrote the song "You Are Not Alone" that he gave Michael Jackson. That was the song he wrote for her. Aaliyah,
they said
age number to number.
They said every song he wrote, and when you start listening to the lyrics, you're like, wow, he talking about little girls.
Slim, look at it.
I mean, and today somebody broke it down on Facebook, and they took a lot of songs and they just listed them, and they took out the verses where they specifically talked about underage girls. And I was like, wow, we've just done bad across the board.
I want to know too, but where's the boys from the neighborhood that would have whooped him up?
Okay.
Like they would have. Like, I don't know.
But they talked about how he did a good job of separating them from everybody. So
that's what abusers do. That's
what they do. That's the first thing they do. They get control and they separate.
His wife said that he would change her fucking cell phone number without her knowing it.
She didn't even know she was getting married the day she got married.
Right. He didn't. Right.
She didn't even know she was getting married.
He flew her to Colorado and had everything set up. She
didn't even have on a wedding dress. She said,
or the dress that she would have. Right. Yeah.
She said she didn't even have
her family wasn't there.
Wedding.
It was his wedding. It was her captor's wedding.
And she said yes. Because she was in love. At that point, he was still
in love.
That honeymoon phase. He was still the honeymoon because she said
during the honeymoon phase is when he was R. Kelly.
Yeah, and she was
after the honeymoon is when he was Robert.
Right, when he let down his guard and he admitted to her he couldn't read and
asked her to help him
read and write, learn how to read and write better. And I mean, he could read, but not very good, very remedial.
Yeah.
And she said that even the day of the wedding, in her mind, she said. She said he didn't even, or at least what she was thinking at that time was, he doesn't even realize that he's crossed the line from romantic to controlling. And she said the way she took it as, oh, he's so romantic. He did all of this for me, blah, blah, blah. But that's that honeymoon period. And unfortunately, the more money someone has as an abuser, the more they can play up that whole honeymoon period, because he can fly her out on a private jet to a private wedding that he's done everything for and made all the arrangements. They said when he proposed, he got the banner on a plane and had the guy parachute. Will you marry me? And had the guy parachute out the plane with the ring. Like all of that. Who wouldn't? That's that Harlequin romance shit.
Oh my God!
Who wouldn't be like, yes, I'll marry you? And then you excuse or you.
That's what I'm looking for, but only if it's God ordained. If God ain't got nothing to do with it, I don't want that man.
But what I'm saying is, but that's what I'm saying. But we all, and again, as a young, because remember, he met his wife when she was 19.
Yeah, she was 19.
So again, as a young woman, who wouldn't be swept away by that? Now, by the time the cracks start showing,
slow.
Then and she said that it's kind of like when
we're gonna see a lot more tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you get
they
high.
didn't get too deep into her last. Was it last night? I can't even remember no more.
Yeah, last night.
But tonight, I think that we're gonna get a lot more.
But it's kind of like, and she said she likened it to a drug abuser who you get that first high, and then for the rest of your life, the rest of your addiction, you're chasing that high. It's the same thing with her. She said once he started showing himself to be the abuser and the control freak, she spent the rest of her time trying to get him to go back to being the person she fell in love with. And so that's that cycle of abuse. That's why women stay. That's why women go back, because it's manipulation. I hate to use
Cardi B.
Right. Or, you saw it in Love's Got to Do with it. What Ike would beat her ass this show with a president. Yeah. That's that cycle of abuse. And again, the more money you have, got to do with it? The more money you have, the easier it is to play that game, because you can throw money at it.
I had a point on that.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to remember what it was.
We're going to wrap it up in about 6 minutes. So
I'm talking about what it was. Because it was like I said, I was tempted and bullied, all that other foolishness. But it was like, I would never do it to anybody else.
You would never do it to anybody else, you said?
You know what I'm saying? The cycle. Like you're saying, the cycle.
Right. But everybody that was abused doesn't become an abuser. But it's just...
I'm just saying, because in my mind,
most people who are abusers were
in my mind, that makes you a bigger piece of shit, because you know how fucked up it is.
People say most people, but I've actually done a little bit of research on this. Most abusers do not abuse. Let's be clear. Most.
No.
I don't.
But
I'm not
but people.
trying,
No, I'm just saying because Crystal just said most, and that's why I'm claiming.
No. What I said. No. What I said was. No. What I said was most abusers were abused. I'm not saying that most people who were abused go out. I'm saying, but if you are an abuser and they go back,
right? Most
that's
likely there's some abuse in your past.
So I'm sorry. Finish your point.
So it was kind of like all the what y'all was saying, all the defense of R. Kelly, the excuses, blame the victims, and all of that. But I was like, but wait, Kelly was an adult. And even though all that stuff that came out about him that y'all was saying before this, and all that he went through, I'm like, well, he knows how fucked up it is. So that makes him twice as worse as everybody else is trying to get him. That makes him twice as worse because he knows.
And that's why it's not an excuse. That's why it's not an excuse to do it.
And sadly, in his mind, because I don't believe that R. Kelly has gotten
as bad as everybody wants to say. What were the parents? Fast as goes or whatever, but this dude knows how fucked up it is. And
did you see the interview he did where he talked about how he was in love with his mom? He asked her to marry him, and she told him no. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, I watched that today. I watched that when I was Googling.
Well, we definitely know that when his mother died, that fucked him up. Like, we know that. But and again, not making it like,
oh my God, was he in love with his mom? As a young boy,
you know, the Oedipus complex is real.
It seems like that would make you want older women than if you were in love with your mom.
That's true. When the last time you looked at a porn site?
What?
Me personally? When was the last time I looked at one?
Yeah.
Last year.
Last year? Yeah. Last year was like a week ago.
When you just said when was the last
right, I'm about to say, don't be calling her out for that. She said she answered your question, motherfucker. Right. Now what's your point? What's your point?
If you looked at it, it's a lot of mama son
fantasies,
shit. Yeah. Mama son shit.
Father's daughter, like that. But see, I can't look at that.
None.
If I would see, that's just it. If you look at it in this docu-series, though, they talk about him making the movies and looking at those movies. Yeah. They don't talk about him
like when he got mad at the girl because she was crying.
He was like, I can't look at this.
Now you crying. You fucked it up.
Like, so that's the difference. He's not looking at it. He's making his own porn and looking at it.
Just saying, this shit's not right either way around.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
He's not right, and people that support him.
But I'm saying
all I can say is
that's a normal.
Have that same mindset if and when it happens to some female that you love.
Have that same mindset. The part of anger, that's a normalcy of it.
I think my anger is because it's been me, and it's hard to separate it. It really is hard to separate it.
If it's a staple in porn, it's a staple in society. That's how I feel about everything.
So art imitating life.
Yeah. Like if it's a staple in porn, it's a staple in society.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. I've seen it progress.
Well, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I mean, you know, again, but that's why. See, I ain't go. We could go. That could be a whole nother.
Time for this for hours.
I'm gonna say porn could be a whole nother conversation about the whole fantasy versus all that. Okay. Well, I want to say this for the people that joined us. I want to thank you, ladies. You guys for coming through. I want to thank everybody's input into the conversation. I want to thank you guys for coming through on your Friday night on your way to wherever you're going next. And you know,
I know why. Damn where I'm going. I'm going to get in the car though.
To hell.
We knew where we were going before we started.
I'm getting in the car. We're going to see what happens.
You knew where you're
going to put on a bow tie.
Right. Remember, you got a bow tie party to go to.
Okay. Look. I forgot all about that. I'm putting a bow tie on.
Let me find out.
But I still
don't
know where
you don't know where the party is.
Yeah, you didn't know when we started where you were going.
You didn't know where the party was when we started. So you just knew you had a bow tie to put on.
I just knew I had to do some shit after this.
I put a bow tie on.
All right. Don't forget that tonight, part 2, part 3 and part 4 come on tonight, and then part 5 and part 6 come on tomorrow. I guess Lifetime was like, we ain't dragging this shit out.
I like the fact that they stood their guns though.
So when they're doing In the Closet series?
Look, but wait a minute. I like the fact that Lifetime stood their ground because you know his attorneys. No, they sent the cease and desist letter.
Lifetime was like,
well,
Lifetime, I'm sure vetted and all
that. That's what Lifetime said. They said in their statement.
Damn,
they were like, we thoroughly investigated this story before we did the movie.
Yeah,
and the movie will be shown as scheduled.
Because remember, there was a bomb threat the night of the premiere. The premiere party, there was a bomb threat, and they had to cancel the premiere party.
Yeah,
nigga.
Somebody that like R. Kelly,
right? They said it was. They said it came from a 312 number, which is a
Chicago number.
I will be uploading, so this will be posted. Also, we have a Face and Don Juan Pablo review of Bird Box. That's gonna be uploaded. And then we're gonna do that's I'm apologize ahead of time. But thank you guys for coming. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe, be good, and I will see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Night.
Yeah. And